Imagine a dog. It stares at you, growling, not moving. Do you have that image in your head? What does it look like? I imagined this dog. I'm willing to bet the dog you imagined looked very different. What happened there? Where was the disconnect? I didn't lie about what I was describing, but I could have done better. We've discussed how to design a character from the bottom up. Want, obstacle, details, need. We know everything about them now, so we can present them to the audience. Let's do it. Here's Rodney. He's a millennial. He's addicted to his phone, lives in a studio apartment, and eats buttered noodles exclusively. But wait, this isn't entertaining. I can't just tell the audience about my character. That's boring. This is where one of the first fundamental rules of writing comes into play. Show, don't tell. This is an old heuristic that provides a great starting point. I call it a starting point and not a law because it isn't a hard and fast rule. Show, don't tell isn't law. It's a tool to help you write in a more engaging way, but it can also get you bogged down in the details. Enough jabbering, let's see what it's all about. The idea behind show, don't tell is this. Things are more entertaining to your audience if they can see something instead of just being told about it. If you're writing a book, then the audience never sees anything. I guess that means you're free to just tell away. Wrong. The audience does see something in what we like to call the theater of the mind. As you read, you create a sort of movie in your head. The descriptions, the actions, and dialogue all play out up here. As a writer, you want that movie to be as engaging as possible. The words in a story break down into 3 different categories: narration, action, and dialogue. First, narration. This is a big one. This is where you describe the physical elements of your world. What does it look like, or smell like, or taste like? This is crucial for developing the theater of the mind. Let's say we have a character named Shelby who's a race car driver. How do we give that information to the audience? We could just tell them, Shelby is a race car driver. Boom, done. People get the general idea of what a race car driver looks like, fireproof suit, helmet, but this image is hazy. If we just tell the audience that Shelby is a race car driver, they get an out of focus image. We want a sharp focus. Let's try again. We don't need to say that Shelby is a race car driver. Instead, let's do this. Shelby's suit covered her whole body, save her head, hands, and feet. Its off-white material was thick and worn, covered in scratches and tears. It only had her name stitched across the back with red twine. Her helmet appeared as if it used to be glossy, but was now so scratched it appeared matte. We now know a lot more about Shelby. She's using old equipment, so she probably isn't super successful at racing. She might only race in minor leagues or against people in her hometown. Shelby definitely isn't a pro. Taking that extra time has already told us a lot more about Shelby than she's a race driver. By showing instead of telling, you can use descriptions to relay character detail that doesn't need to be said outright. It even creates a sense of cleverness in the reader when they put the pieces together. You can use the same tactic with locations. Where a character lives can convey an incredible amount of information. If they're messy, describe that mess to the audience. Maybe they have stacks of paper on their desk, pens scattered about, and lines of text with circles around them. It's clear they're trying to figure something out, and it may be driving them crazy. Where a character lives can give so much information, from the messes they make to the pictures on their wall. Next, let's take a look at action. We want to describe things in the most vibrant way possible for the clearest focus. One of our biggest issues here are adverbs, words that end in ly, our nemesis. These try to modify vague words with the hopes of making them more clear, but they don't really. All they do is dress up a weak verb and then try and sell it to you for twice the price. Let's say John turned around and threw the ball angrily at the fence. What does that mean? I'm sure an image pops into your head, but there's more than one way to throw a ball angrily. I bet you all got different images. We can make this more clear by using strong verbs. John spun around and flung the ball at the fence. We didn't change much here, but the image is a lot more clear. Spun is a more energetic verb than turned, which plays into John's anger. And flung is a more aggressive verb than threw. We don't really need angrily anymore. Remember that verbs have a tone to them. Nobody uses flung to describe a light toss. Flung is harsh. Using strong verbs that match the tone will give your character's action more emotion. Showing a character's emotion is one of the most important tools for showing the audience their personality. We don't have to tell the audience how a character feels if they can see it for themselves. Finally, we have dialogue. There are two important elements here. First is voice. How a character speaks, from their accent to the words they choose, tells you a lot about them. If a character uses a lot of complex words, then obviously they're smart. You don't need to tell the audience that. You can make it obvious through the way that they speak. When it comes to what they're actually saying, it's important to mention that characters shouldn't give away exactly how they feel. They should do what we tend to do in real life. Beat around the bush, deflect, hold it in until the bubble's ready to pop. Your audience should have to piece together the subtext from the character's words and actions. You can also use dialect to tell your audience about a character. If you have a character from the southern United States, they probably say things like dang and y'all. But don't get too carried away. I think that people can often end up writing caricatures when they start leaning on dialect too much. Mixing dialogue with action is the biggest key here. As characters say things, you can weave in action to give emotional context to the things that they're saying. Instead of someone saying, "I'm so mad, why would you do that?" Just have them say, "Why would you do that?" and cross their arms. We all know what that means, and now the audience can picture it too. Characterization is a bit like a treasure hunt. The longer your readers follow a character, the more they learn. Take it slow and make sure the map is clear so they can find that sweet, sweet treasure waiting for them. Mixing your descriptions, actions, and dialogue, you can create a world that breathes and pulls people in. Showing instead of telling helps your audience lose themselves in the story. Show your audience something special. Thanks for watching. This is our third video in our series on creating characters. Next time, we're going to be discussing villains. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Leave a like, leave a comment if you have any questions, or if you just want to tell me I'm having a good hair day. Join the discussion on Discord. Follow us on social media. Links to all of that down below. Thanks again for watching. You the best. This video is brought to you by Campfire Pro. This powerful writing tool can help you plan your stories and get started writing. Its character creation tools include character arcs and character sheets where you can record all of your character's details. Try out Campfire Pro's 10-day free trial and start building your characters today.